Live from Avalon Studios, it's the Log Jam.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Log Jam. Week 5, Week 4 is in the books. How do you feel, fellas?
I feel wonderful, man. Highway Titans 3-1.
I mean, I feel great. I mean, I feel like a weight's been lifted. I mean, I finally, did get into that win column this week, so that feels great. But all in all, I thought there were some good matchups this week. Another fun week, separated by a couple. Maybe 1-4-0 team now.
1-4-0, 1-4-0, yeah. 4 teams, log jammed in the middle.
Yep.
4th place through 7. So yeah, it's shaping up like it usually does. I think it feels pretty good. Congratulations for getting off the snide.
Thanks. I definitely thought playing Steve this week, and we've rated a couple teams really high on the show. I think if I remember right. I mean, out of the keeper draft, and as well as out of the real draft, we said Zorro's, Who's Your Daddy, Merci
Beaucoup and Fury
OBG.
Yeah, OBJ.
Okay. So we pretty much had those 3. So when you see them on your schedule, especially when you're 0-3 at the time, I just marked it up as a loss. But it's nice to win. It wasn't a dominating performance at 119, but congratulations to me.
Billy, you got 3-1 this week.
3-1, big win against the Zorros. I've done everybody a big favor
Yes, you
in
have.
the other division, knocking one undefeated team off. I now have another undefeated team on my slate this week. We'll get to that a little bit later, but the Titans, they're feeling good for as much stupid decisions they made over the last year and through the draft and what's going on. Like we feel good. We're scared about what's coming out in the next couple weeks.
Well, you've been right there at the. I don't know if you've won even the point total.
We're number 2
Yeah.
in the league, only by a couple points for most points scored. And I don't know if you guys remember, but my bank account does that the Titans were the highest point total scoring last year.
Wow.
Yeah. There's a couple teams right at that level.
Yes.
One thing that you might notice on the set this week is there's only 3 of us. Tom Farrell, we believe, is now officially afraid of the logjam curse.
I would be too if you were 0-3 every week you came on, right?
Yeah, well, we love having you guys stop by the studio, and Tom took us to heart when we sent out an invite. And episode 2 of this year, we set it up. Hey, come by, be with us. He did. And things went great. So for the last 3 weeks he was here. But like you said, I think there has something to do with him being absent. So he said, I have to work early. What was it?
Yeah, today doesn't work, so on a new job, allegedly. But if you look back to that week 2 show, there was a pep in his step. He had the second highest points.
Yeah.
He was ready to say, hey, I'm committed.
When he came out of the gates and blasted his son, if I remember right, it was like he blasted him.
Yeah.
It's like Adrian Peterson.
Comes on the show, says, hey, welcome to the Log Jam,
and now all of a sudden we don't see him on the show. So I mean, I guess congratulations on the new job, but we'll see if that text comes next week.
I don't know the answer offhand, but maybe one of the studio boys can get us the answer. Did Ari win the week that he was the solo host of the show? I don't remember offhand if he did, but
we can check that out. We'll have the stats guys look at that while we're talking about it.
Maybe for next week.
I'm sure Ari's sitting at home right now like, I can't
It's great. This season, the divisions is the first time we're seeing changes in how the standings would look based on divisions. If the season ends today, the Tillman division would have 4 of the 6 playoff teams.
Who's the only one not in there?
Well, I'm the only one that wouldn't have made the playoffs.
But you're trending up. We could
see
a year with 5 Tillman division teams.
We're going to come up.
I don't know.
Watch out, Hammers.
I don't know about that. You have the Fury and the Titans on the other side that look to be a pretty good place. Yeah. And regardless, one of those 2 teams looks like they're vying for a bye.
Absolutely.
But
that number 7 is getting closer for a couple teams.
Yeah, I mean 4-0. That's 3 wins. Pretty much puts you in the playoffs and makes you feel a lot better. I mean, even at 2-2, anytime I can stay close to 500, I'm happy there. But a couple of 3-1 teams expecting, and then gotta make a run if you're 1-3. A couple of anomalies in the standings that we noticed as we were looking through is that Benter not only is ahead of the league, but there is a huge gap. He is leading points against by almost 80 points.
Yes, this is true, and it's one of those things that that's part of the dynamic of fantasy football is the luck and picking up someone in one random spot in a week and throwing him, and he gets you 35 points. It's the luck and the way that fantasy football goes, right? You never know who's going to go off. I don't know if you guys know, but at the beginning of this weekend, the first 5 guys with touchdowns were people that no one started on there. Like, it was just out of control, right? So that's kind of like the joy and the horror of what we do here. But it's called gambling, guys. Like, we're all in it for the win it, but it's just kind of what happens sometimes, right?
Yeah, it is just weird how, like, you're right. It just rolls, and sometimes it favors you, and sometimes it doesn't. It is also weird that it has favored Benner's Fury for a year and a quarter now.
Yeah.
I mean, we said this all last year. I mean, we've talked about the drafting but we went through the whole thing all last year about how lucky this guy is, right? Well, now we've got 4 weeks of luck again. I mean, I get it's points against, but
there's something to be said in fantasy football for having a statistical advantage by position. And he has one at quarterback almost every week, and he has one at tight end almost every week. And he just fills in the middle, and with the New England defense scoring, he looks like a great team. But we can't forget about the Zorros, also sitting undefeated, also having just picked up Alvin Kamara. I think that's a team to look out for.
Well, except the Zorros got beat this week.
I understand that.
they got bitch slapped. How do you say bitch slap? We need to get his translator in here.
We call it puta madre en el aire con dinero.
All right, that gets us to rule changes. Those of you keeping up in real time already put out a missive again today, calling for a change to going to a 26-game schedule. We'll spare you the details. Take a look, pause it right now, read it if you can. But he's proposing that not only do we play against a random opponent, but against the average of the rest of the league. It's not a new thing. The Manor League in Colfax, Washington, that we adopted in 1990, used it for a couple of years. That league is still running by that principle. They like it. I think it brings a little bit of a, I don't know, what do you think?
I think we kind of address it with like the end of the year awards, right? Like we have an end of the year award for team who scores the most points. We also have an end of the year award for team who has the most points scored against him. And with, I don't understand the carrot and the stick, but somehow that's another thing for points low and points high we do for the whole year. So I think that's kind of how we deal with it. Maybe if he wanted to take away those kind of fines and do something like that with it, I could see maybe a way of us dealing with it that way, but it's just so much more numbers to deal with, and like at the end of the day, we're still going to go by our current standard of and format of how we decide who a champion is, right?
Yeah.
It's not going to be like the. So I think we already deal with it, and we deal with it with money. So
I agree with you. I mean, you guys vote how you want as it comes up and read it, because it is a valid point to a league that wants to be as fair, like analytical, I guess, like who is the best manager, like who did the best of it. And you're right, we do reward that with high points. You know, who had, against the guy. I just fear that it'll take week by week a little bit away from the team you're playing, as that's my second game. I don't know. Maybe I'm being close-minded about this. But when all this was said, the one thing it made me think about, I want to push for this. I want to push for, if you, at the end of the year, have the least points scored against you, you pay a fine. You need to buy a round, dude. If you had the easiest schedule at the end of the year, you owe the league some money or a shot or
1,
something.
5,
So
10. I think
that makes more sense to me than playing
that guy's probably going to be
sideshow
in the
Bob
deep
team.
rounds of the playoffs too.
Yeah, they absolutely are, and they're going to be in the playoffs for sure, because if they're the lowest statistically it gets there. I think before any kind of change like that would have to be made, we'd have to go see how would that have affected the league the last 11 years. Like, how would it change? Would it have brought me back to the pack a little bit in wins, or is there someone that came up that would have made playoffs in a couple of years that didn't?
I'm sure.
And then
I'm sure
over the course of
cases.
11 years, that's a statistical chunk of, well, how would it have affected it? And we can look back at that. Maybe then say, yeah, that makes sense, or no, it doesn't.
We probably would immediately find, I believe, when we do this, I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that Ari would not have won a championship that year. No?
I mean,
That's like the first thing that would, I mean, if we're taking luck out of it, if that's what you're saying, let's get analytical, everybody plays the same. There's no way the Hammers have a championship.
Take names off trophies in case it
Mark
goes
them
that
off.
way. We can
Mark
mark
them
them
off.
I don't think there's any way to do that. That's aggressive, but it's awesome. That brings us to the sponsored Classe Azul Picks of the Week. A couple games on the schedule, a couple of big ones. We're going to start with Young, 0-4, looking for their first win, trying to get, gonna get that fight for the last win, but can he do it against the 3-1 Zorros?
I don't think so. I think he goes to 5. So I would assume there's going to be a fire sale coming for the young kids. So look out there. Zorro's is just going to have another opportunity to make his play to pretty much almost seal and deal a playoff position here with this fourth win. It's going to be.
Well, I will say this. I will say, Young, you've been waiting on Deshaun Watson. He's a keeper. He hasn't really been performing for you at a position that you need him to perform at. However, James Conner's showing up, right? And now Todd Gurley's showing up. I don't know that the Young is the 0-4 team we've seen. I think he's on the cusp of a breakout too here. I'm going to take Young. I know the Zorros are pissed that they lost last week, and this is probably a crazy, but I'm going to take Young here.
All right. Well, I don't see any reason to pick against the pattern that's happening this week, and I just think the Zorros team is building for the playoffs. It does bring up an interesting question, will Young sell? Is Gurley back on the market? Is it James Conner on the market? Those could be league-changing players if they do change hands, so that's something to keep an eye on, but I'm going to pick the Zorros to win this week.
Sure.
We're going to go to Young's daddy, the missing log jam host, at 1-3, traveling to Cardinal Sin. Big win over me this week. Big game this week from Leonard Fournette late. Get a lot of late afternoon games, but he's 2-2 facing the daddy. Who you got, D?
Well, I'll say this: after we got on the keeper draft and all these, the fact that the daddy and I have the same record right now at 1-3 is fantasy gods, because his team is better than mine. I know that. So I think this week it could correct itself. But Corey, I got you, bro. I'm taking the Sin.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Sin are going to do it. I think Seattle, with this divisional game, is going to be a little bit in trouble with Jared Goff and company. Christian McCaffrey, as we all know, has just been running rampant everywhere. It's ridiculous.
We'll use him on 102%
You really
of
messed
their
me up.
plays.
He was going to trade me Christian McCaffrey if you didn't really mess him up the other week, and then he got a win, and then if you would have beat him, Christian McCaffrey was
I
coming
scored
to power.
157 points. He beat me. What do you want me to do? I mean, I understand.
More!
what
I
you're
want you to do more. Anyways, I got the Sin. I got the Sin, Tom. I got the Sin.
I felt a lot like that against the Sin, having what I thought was heading towards a good week, and then him just snatching. And Zeke didn't show up Monday. But I'm going to say the daddy make a comeback. I think they're off stage. I think they win this week. I think the logjam curse is real, Tom. So I'm taking daddy this week. That brings us to Darren and the Pins, 1-3, traveling to the Hammers. Billy, who you got?
I'm gonna take I forget exactly how Lou put it in Major League, but you win one, it's win, you win two, that's a winning streak or something like that. But I think Darren's gonna get back on the train and get to 2 wins here against the Hammers.
I'm going to say not so fast, my friend. I think this Hammers team, despite what looked like a fire sale, has some pieces together that are going to get in position. So
Aaron Jones for real now that Jamal Williams got his head blown up or whatever. Aaron Jones seems to be a bigger piece for him. There are pieces on his team that I'll agree. Over the last couple of weeks, I think his team has woken up. But last week I picked my team on the show to try to backward the curse, and I won. So I feel like I got to pick myself again.
all right, I like it. That's 2 for Darren. So far, no sweeps on the board. That brings us to the Avengers 2-2, going to OBJ 2-2. I'm just going to start this out and pick OBJ. I'm taking him. I think I've liked his team for a long time, and I don't fuck with the curse.
Yep.
Fellas, what do you like?
Wow. I think he has a real big opportunity for his quarterback to blow up all over you with Carson Wentz going against the Jets. I think that could be a real coming out party. We don't know if all their wide receivers are going to be healthy coming back. As far as Deshaun Jackson is maybe questionable to come back, but that is somebody who could just really, really blow out the top of that fucking secondary. Ingram, holy shit, that guy has been unbelievable coming through with Baltimore's offense as well, with Lamar Jackson exploiting everybody. His team really has an opportunity to explode at any time, but I really think this week, I think you're going to get him, Tom. You're right. I think you're going to do some work on the OBJYN.
I just think OBJYN has just a strong core. I love Dalvin Cook. I love him. Derrick Henry. I love Mark Ingram. That just feels like Avengers teams of old to me, and it scares the shit out of me, frankly.
Well, it's the game comes down to matchups, and both of you are built. And what I see similarly with running back cores and high energy offenses and opportunities, and both have put up points this year. I'm gonna take the Avengers.
All right, I appreciate the support. I'm not sure that goes that way. The game of the week: the Poway Titans 3-1 travel to Angostura to take on the Bitters. Darren, who you like?
Whew. Well, it's not who I like. It's kind of what I want to happen. Like, I don't want there to be undefeated teams in the league. It's like whatever year that Dolphins won the thing, right? We're trying to cheer against perfection somewhat, so that we can get it, not them. But in this case, I'm going to take Poway.
You want me to go before
Please,
you
please.
weigh in on your matchup? There's a couple of things I like about this game. For Binter, I mean, when you have that powerful tandem in KC have what looked like a little bit slower week last week and still get away with a win because New England defense is out of nowhere, odds are they're going to put up enough 140, 145, 150 point days just as a basis. This 108 is way out of the realm for them. I think they come back and put up a number. It's not to say that I don't think this Titans team is fantastic. I don't, I know the Eckler Gordon thing is going to be question marks, but I'm putting this one back for Binter.
Okay, I respect your decision there, and I appreciate it for the Gooch side of things. I will just note that John Ross isn't probably going to play the
He's
game,
not playing.
and I have this guy named Tyler Boyd, which is a very plus minus feature to our
matchup. Arizona's
right.
secondary.
Right. Lamar Jackson and Dak is going to be kind of the question of the week for the Titans of who to start. There may be a defense or two we're looking into. I'm working with management tonight to figure out what's going on. I want to put that on board. Definitely, Benner won't watch this before midnight, so I'm trying to get the Eagles defense. I think that's a good matchup for me. I've stumbled upon a really couple of gold mines with Waller and especially with Gallman last week. Holy shit, he had 29 points. Eckler had a big game last week. So I think, like you said, we're both going to be about 145, 150 points. I think I'm going to just squeeze out a win and take off the heads of the undefeated teams here in the LOG for us, this guys. And you can thank me for that. You can thank the Titans at the end of the day.
It's nice. We knocks off two undefeated teams. I like the personal entanglement sometimes in fantasy football. I hate them when I'm involved with them, with my guys on my team against me, or those kinds of things. But that Tyler Boyd matchup with Binter's Bengals against the Cardinals, without Binter's receiver against Binter's team in fantasy, that will be a fun one to watch. So I'm looking forward to that.
What do you got?
Well, fellas, I don't know if you guys noticed, but it is the 25th episode of the Log Jam, so we're pretty happy about that.
Absolutely.
25.
25. If you've watched all 25 of these, congratulations. You've been a part of the experience. Thank you. For those of you who've just watched a couple or whatever, thank you. But 25, it's gone pretty quick.
I mean, we're old enough that I don't think Billy would even date us.
Oh, no, absolutely.
I wouldn't.
We passed that like 3 weeks ago.
Do we want to put out some personal thank yous to people in our past real quick so we're on the show? Have you got one in mind?
No, I was going to go with number 25, Barry Bonds.
Oh, Barry Bonds. I will go with thank you to Mike. Thank you to Kevin Cruz. Thank you to all of you Log Jam members League of Gentlemen members who stopped by the studio. Subscribers.
People that
Thank
stop by
you.
just to say hey.
Yeah.
So not people that wear the jersey 25?
Oh, 25?
My special.
I'll go with 25 Adele. That was a good album.
Your special things?
For number 25 or to the rest of the league? My special 25 goes out to Sharon Sanger. South Scottsdale, it was around Roosevelt, you've met her before.
Yep.
I used to call us Justin Timberlake and Brittany. Anyways, hottest girl I've ever dated. shout out to you if you're out there. See me anywhere. 480-388-2554. PowerLax@yahoo.com. Anyways.
I don't know how we close other than that, guys. Thanks for watching.